I'm going to start with a quick question from you guys. How many of you guys, or how comfortable are you with the Git CLI? And I'm going to give you 3 choices to choose from. The first is, I cringe every time I use the Git CLI. The second is that I know enough to get by. And the third is, I am very comfortable with Git CLI. So we're going to ask this question. How many of you guys fall into the first category? I cringe every time? All right. That's a handful of you. How many of you guys know enough to get by? All right, that's the majority, maybe 66, 67% of you. And how many of you are very comfortable with Git to where you know all the commands? All right, that's about 7, maybe 8% of you, right? All right, that's how it falls down, right? 8% know Git really well. This is like machine learning AI on the fly over here, combined with some social BS. So, yeah. Pretty common, though, for the statistics to fall in this way. That about 8% of you know Git CLI inside and out. 92% of you guys are using cheat sheets that look like this, where you have the common Git commands, right? Like, you know what I'm talking about. And the more advanced of you have know all the sort of detailed commands where you can type git log -- all -- decorate -- one line -- graph, and after all of that typing, you get this beautiful ASCII art that looks like this, where there's some squiggly lines on the left-hand side that supposedly show merges and branches and so on. There's some gibberish that is apparently known as the secure hash algorithm, SHA, but we're humans, too lazy to say SHA, so we have to pronounce an acronym. SHA is the SHA. Such a great word, SHA, right? Then you use the SHA to find out the details about commits, but here in this graph, you get the comments of the commits, no idea what's happening in the commit, no idea who made the commit, but you get the SHA, because this thing was designed for humans, not machines, right? So, the question is why? Why do we use the Git CLI? How many of you guys still use MS-DOS? Show of hands. There's 2 people in the audience, I love it. MS-DOS hasn't been a thing for like years. But of course, you might be referring to using terminal in your graphical user interfaces, because MS-DOS let you run applications that look like that. That is the most popular word processor ever during the late 80s and early 90s, called WordPerfect. And if MS-DOS had won, your telephone would look like this, where you'd get a command line prompt instead of a list of icons to click on. And then when you want to connect to a Wi-Fi, you type Wi-Fi, connect, DevWeek Wi-Fi. And then it would ask you for a password, right? And then it'd say connected, and you'd get that satisfying prompt again. And for those commands, I know some of you, the 8%ers, the ones who raised their hands when I said who knows Git inside and out, they're like, where can I get that phone? I pay real money for that phone, right? And then they'd run Instagram, and it would say starting Instagram, and boom, it would put up a picture. Do you want to comment on this? And what's funny is that there's a world out there that is stuck in ASCII. This picture that I put up here is a real picture of me. And if you look carefully, you can see me. It looks like this. There's a website. If you Google it, you can go to a website, upload an image, and it'll give you ASCII art that looks like this, right? Oh man. Thank God we don't have to live in this world. You know why we don't have to live in this world? Because graphical user interfaces won, for God's sake. Except for Linux people, who held out for a lot longer, right? Linux people held out throughout the 90s. They would not give up. They did not, the bare Linux operating system did not have GUIs that came with them. It wasn't until well into the 2000s until finally the most popular flavors of Linux also came with a graphical user interface. And now, they're the ones who are innovating on the GUI, which is kind of interesting. So the question is, now that GUIs have won, why are you still using the CLI? Now, if the answer, up until a couple of years ago, if your answer was because all the Git clients sucked, you'd be correct. But now we have a new client in the past few years, which my company makes, of course, and it has over 1 million developers that are using it. So you're missing out if you're not using it. And I want to give you a demo to show you how you're missing out, right? All right, so let's hop into GitKraken. This is what GitKraken looks like. Everybody can see that. All right. When you first log into GitKraken and create a new account, if you log in with your GitHub account, it's like 2 seconds, and you can, this is the screen that you land on. And you can open a project, and forgive me because, I can't see anymore, so I have to put on my glasses. You can open a project or a repo, start a local repo, or start a hosted project on like github.com or GitLab. Which of these would you guys like to see? Oh, hosted on github.com? All right, very cool. Well, let's do that. When you click on that, you get an interface that looks like this. You can click on your GitHub account, name this project, so we'll call it DevWeek Demo. It's always a good idea to do live demos in front of an audience. So do this at home. We're going to click on this button that says Create Repo and Clone. And what this is going to do is it's going to create the repo on github.com for me, and we can actually view it on github.com over here. And it's going to clone it down into your local machine so that you have a copy or a clone of that repo on your machine. And GitKraken is ready to go. So we have the repo on github.com, and we have a local copy of it here. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of GitKraken. On the left-hand side in this sidebar here, this is the local branches of this repo, which currently just has the master. We also see a list of the remotes for this repo, which currently just has the origin, which also only has the master. So this is what, the GitHub origin. If you had any pull requests, it would be shown here. If you had any tags, it would be shown here. In this main portion of the interface, we reserve this for what we call the Git graph, or the commit graph. We currently, of course, only have the one graph. And then on the right-hand side, for any currently selected commit, which is our initial commit, we have the files that were affected by that commit. Clicking on a file, we quickly see exactly what changes were before and after the file was changed. So we can quickly access every single commit in our repo. So let's go ahead and branch out over here and create a feature, or work on a feature that we're going to create together. And let me turn off my caps lock. And for this feature, we're going to add a new file. So we can say create file, and we'll call it index.html. So this is going to be an HTML file. And we have a built-in editor in GitKraken that's the same editor as VS Code that you can use to actually write code. And it has the same syntax, highlighting, autocomplete, everything that comes with VS Code is in here, essentially. And I can't really type and talk at the same time, so I have to type what I say. So I'm going to just, for demonstration purposes, this is the feature that we have built. And I'm going to now close out that file, and you can see I have some work in progress. You can see in your repo what is actually happening. So here's the file that I just created. The before and after of it. I'm going to stage this file, and I'm going to make my first live commit during DevWeek demo commit. And I'm going to give that as the name of the commit. And now you can see, okay, wow, we have 2 commits in this repo. You can see who made the commit because, we have a image of it, right? Like, yeah, it's clap-worthy. I totally agree. So here is some additional cool things. We know that this is currently a branch that hasn't yet been merged into master. I can drag and drop it and say, merge this feature into master. And now, all of a sudden, our graph shows this is where we branched, which is from the original commit. We created this feature, and then we merged it back into master. Some additional things you might notice is that it's only on the local machine. We currently have the feature branch still checked out, and our origin is still sitting there back at the old version. It doesn't have our index.html file. So now if we want to push it up into GitHub, what we can do is switch to our master and push this button right here, and it's now syncing it to GitHub and pushing those changes to github.com. So if we switch to our GitHub view of this repo, we can see, boom, there's the 2 files, there's the 3 commits that we have, and for the first time ever, we know what's going on in our repo, which is pretty amazing, right? Pretty cool. So it doesn't end there, of course. It gets much more interesting when you have a lot of commits and you're working with a team that's quite large. But before I demo that, I want to get into what we call Glo boards. And Glo boards gives you this opportunity, and I forgot to delete my previous Glo board here that is synced with GitHub issues. But Glo boards gives you an opportunity to create tasks and issues that you want to track for your team or for yourself. We give you a welcome board that gives you the essentials so that you can see this thing works with columns. You can drag and drop cards from one column to the next. It's super easy. You can create boards on the fly. But one of the most interesting things you can do, if you're a heavy GitHub.com user, especially if you use GitHub issues, is you can create boards that are synced with GitHub issues. So in this case, I have connected my GitHub account to this GitKraken, and I can create a synced board for that DevWeek demo repo that we just created. And of course, right now, we don't have any issues in it. So let's go over to our GitHub account and see how this works in real time. So this is github.com, and I'm going to switch to the Issues tab. And I'm going to create a new issue side by side with GitKraken so that you can see how this works. So live issue created during DevWeek. And I'm not going to hit enter yet, but what I want you to do is pay attention to what happens in GitKraken's Glo board as soon as I click this submit button. And I'm going to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, click. Boom. It showed up here before it showed up here, because what's going on in the background is that there's webhooks that are getting fired. The instant you make a change in GitHub issues is syncing that change into Glo boards. So every single item, as you're making those changes, whether you're adding it to GitHub, and I'm going to put this on the left here, whether you're adding it to GitHub, so another item, and I can't, think on the fly and name these things. So let's add a couple of other items, this and that, and another. So we have these, 5 or 6 items. If we come over here and refresh our page, we have those same exact items over here. If we click on an item, we see the details over here. We can add descriptions. We can add tasks for the items, task 1, task 2, and so on. We can add labels for this item. So let's go to our list of labels and make this a bug and a good first issue and close this out. And when we look over here and refresh this, and GitHub does an auto refresh, we can see instantly those labels that we just added down here. And if we were to look at the details, we see the tasks that were just added over here as well. We can click to finish one of the tasks, and instantly we see that one of those 2 tasks was finished. So it doesn't matter whether you use GitHub issues or Glo, it's instantaneous. But going back to Glo, what makes Glo great is that you can add columns to say, those are a list of issues, but these are the ones that are in progress. And here's another set that PRs are done, waiting for review maybe, waiting for testing. So if this is your workflow, this might be the set of columns that you might have, and then you can drag and drop an item from one column to the next, right? And say, okay, this is waiting for testing. Super easy. Now what's great about it is that you can come over here, work on a feature, click on your Glo boards, move that feature along on your workflow, go back. You don't have to context switch. You don't have to switch into or log into another app. You're just good to go. Now let's open a repo that is a little bit more complicated. So here is the real live repo for GitKraken, and you can see it getting updated in real time. This is the actual product that I'm demoing. The developers are literally constantly, this particular commit was done an hour ago. And I can look at the very latest merges that happened just minutes ago. Here's a commit that was done by Tyler. And here's the 2 files that were changed. I can actually click on those files, and I've never done this before because these files were literally changed moments ago. And I can see exactly what the changes were. These lines were removed. These lines were changed or updated. I can see that in real time. Now imagine trying to do this on the command line. You don't have to imagine it, I'm going to show you. All right, so we're going to go to the command line and type git log dash dash all dash dash. What were the commands? I don't even remember them, but it looks something like this, right? I fortunately had typed it in earlier, so we can do this now and hit enter. And this is the beautiful graph that we get instead of this, right? And of course, it's so ASCII. So we can come over here and say, let's pick a commit for what we want to do, or a demo. One that maybe has a handful of files. So here's one that has these 2 files that were changed. And this is fetch all, should refresh, whatever. So let's look for that. That's this commit right here. And if we want to look at the details of this, what do we have to do? We have to copy the SHA. This is like ridiculous, people. Like, we got to copy this. This is the secure hash algorithm. And then we got to say git show, and then that SHA, right? So that's how you can see what files were changed and exactly what was changed. But how can you make sense out of that? Or what if you just wanted to see what files were changed? You actually have to write a command that looks like this, where it's just the names only, please, so that you can see, okay, these 2 files were changed. Let me just look at this file. How do I even do that? Forget about it. In GitKraken, it's just you click on it, and you click on the file, and you're looking at the file. If you want to edit this file, you click edit, and you're editing this file. You can actually make edits right here. Here is an edit. Save your change, and you can commit this change in less time than it takes you to look up the command on the command line interface. So, pretty amazing, right? Like, lots of good productivity improvement tools here. Now, what I want to show you a little bit is our own use of Glo boards. Because Glo boards, besides having this capability of syncing with GitHub issues, is a really awesome way of keeping track of virtually anything. We actually have Glo boards for our company onboarding. So we have like our company board that shows you everything as far as what we're about and what the culture is like. We have Glo boards for every single project that we're doing. There's a Glo board for Glo, of course. This is the real live Glo board for the Glo product. And working with this is pretty incredible because I can come over here and click on a particular user and just look at the items that are assigned to that user. So if I want to see the items assigned to Ashley, I just click on her avatar. If I want to see items that are assigned to her that are just features, I can come over here on the search bar and type features, and you can see the autocomplete and everything working in real time. And this is all pulling down this data from the cloud, and it's literally that fast. Right? If I get rid of my search, it's instantly back to everything. I can look at just the items that are API related, and you guys are getting insight into our board, of what's happening. So it's pretty cool. We can look at IT projects, IT overview. We literally have a board for virtually everything. So let's go back to the demo here, or the presentation here. And what do we conclude? We conclude that Git CLI is the root of all evil. Literally, Republicans and Democrats would get along if it wasn't for the Git CLI. Venezuela wouldn't be having all sorts of internal conflicts. Global warming wouldn't be an issue. So it's all related to Git CLI. Kim Jong-il is a Git CLI user, that guy, right? Do you want to be like Kim Jong-il? Right? That's the big question that I have for you. That's my talk. You guys can go to GitKraken.com to download GitKraken. It's free to use. You can come to our booth to pick up some swag like shirts and slap koozies, which are pretty cool. GitKraken is free for non-commercial use, and it's $49 per year for commercial use. And it includes both products, the Git client as well as Glo boards. So we have about 4 minutes. And I want to get to any Q&A that you guys might have as well. So, any questions in the audience right there?
The GloBoard feature works with the Bitbucket integration.
Does GloBoards work with?
With
Bitbucket. It does not sync with anything other than GitHub issues, but you don't need to sync it with anything. You can just use GloBoards. and track everything inside of Glowboards. What other questions right there?
What are recommended just learning resources, and how long would you estimate that transition would be both for an individual and like a small organization?
Learning resources to learn GitKraken. We have a number of tutorials that if you go to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/GitKraken, you'll see a series of learning Git with GitKraken that not only teaches you GitKraken, but also teaches you some of the foundational concepts in Git, like merge and rebase and pull requests and all sorts of stuff. But if you know Git, you already know the commands, GitKraken is going to be natural for you. Let's go to the back there and then to the middle. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you make money?
So it's for commercial use, it's $49 per user per year. And I know that's very, very cheap. I think most people are like surprised at how inexpensive it is, but we've priced it in such a way that we're working on volume rather than a handful of enterprise customers. So,
can you use GitKraken to rebase onto your...
Can you use GitKraken to rebase? Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the next version is also going to have interactive rebase, which is pretty exciting. Questions on this side? Go ahead.
As you're using the graphical user interface, is there a way to actually see the commands that GitKraken is sending to GitHub?
Great question. So the question is, can you see the Git commands that are happening under the hood? And the answer is right now no, because we use a Git library called the Git2 that's actually direct Git operations. We're not using the Git CLI to actually do those commands. That's one way that GitKraken is actually very different than all other Git clients as well. So it can do things that you can't necessarily do easily on the CLI. Any other questions? Was there a question on this side? All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Oh wait, one more question and then we're done. Go ahead. We do have, so the question is, do you have an undo feature? We do have an undo feature, which you can kind of see on the toolbar here. There's the undo. So if I wanted to undo what I just did, and right now I can't undo because I haven't done anything to the repo. But yeah, you can undo some operations. If it's undoable, you can undo it in GitKraken. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time, everybody.